Shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Kohalayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harachados Rakatham. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and sincerity. Salakia, with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives, and as well as the freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is an edifying lesson. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of the other nations, which appear like the other nations, but who subscribe to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. This is the brother Yahweh Sop out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, as well as through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And I came across an article on Yahoo, and I wanted to bring it out. It's a short article, made me think of a couple precepts, and it's just showing the time we in. Literally, I've been coming across videos lately. Well, not videos, but articles talking about uh, the coming famine or how the price of goods about to go up, which is going to cause a famine. Because the thing is, if the price of goods gonna go up, and you got those that have, and then you have those that have not, well, you might be able to afford to get the food, but if I'm one of the have-nots, I won't. And it's a lot more have-nots, especially since this pandemic, than it is that have. You get what I'm saying? So that's a famine. You know what I mean? On top of the fact that it's going to be, it's going to be a biblical proportion, because when you take the time to think about it, not only because you got people in a financial situation, that's why the more than likely they're going to have to give out another stimulus. You get what I'm saying? That's why they already had it set up that they're going to start giving people with families a certain amount of money, you know what I'm saying, a month. Because they already orchestrated all this. But those people that's going to be getting that money, best believe it tells you in scripture, a gift destroyeth the heart. So it's going to be stipulations. Like I said, I just recently got out of jail or whatever. And I went to jail like last month. And long story short, I didn't even know this, but I learned something. This guy that was getting unemployment, he was like, basically, just because you on unemployment, they automatically signed you up with Obamacare. I'm like, damn. So you don't think it's stipulations in that? You know what I mean? Where if you getting, because put it like this, if you getting any kind of help, that's just like if you stay with somebody, right? And you staying rent free. You are basically on the whims of that person. You get what I'm saying? So you got to deal with whatever fuck shit you got to deal with, or you know what I mean? Like whatever, you know what I mean? Because you at their mercy, and that's what I mean. That's all those that's relying, that don't want to get a job. Right now it's jobs out here for real to a certain extent. I mean, maybe not a job that everybody wants, but at the end of the day, it is jobs. Because I mean, I've had opportunity. I've seen, I've had at least three people call me back just recently. You know what I mean? My lot is a little bit different. I got a record and whatnot, so it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for me to a certain extent. But at the same time, ain't nothing difficult dealing with your how about Shimmy Shot. I mean, with my record, I've had jobs, so you know what I mean. Like the point being, you know, if you relying on this system, then you're gonna have to actually deal with the system. Like I said, I mean, like right now, you about to have basically just on, what they, how does that go? I think it's the Hegelian dialectic with the pressure from above, pressure from below. Right. You about to, and that's why, it talk about that through that affliction. The Most High bring you through that affliction of fire. You know what I mean? We about to be afflicted. It's like you say, right? I mean, you about to watch people because they opening things back up, but the catch 22 to it is, they talk about passport, the ID, the visa, the CV passport is not going to be mandatory. But then, how do you think you're going to actually be able to get into these concerts and whatnot? When you really take in these different events that they about to be holding, every now and then was not about to be able to do that. You know what I mean? You're going to have to show proof. And the craziest part is, we was reading articles. Well, I could say I was reading articles that listening to certain things. It was, information that was brought out last year that said that they was going to play it just like they're playing it now. So call a lawyer, how about Shem Yahushua? Because the scripture, Second Corinthians chapter 2 talks about least Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant. You know what I mean? It tells you in the book of Isaiah chapter 42 about the former things. have come to pass, and new things do I declare upon onto you. You know what I mean? So this is all through Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But this is a short article. I got two scriptures. I'm not gonna make this very long. It's not supposed to be long. I've been long-winded lately, as of lately. You know what I mean? So Salakia for that. So the article's out of Yahoo Finance is by Brian Sozi. It was dated May 1st on Beltane. I already knew it was gonna be some goofiness yesterday. Yeah, that's Beltane. So Warren Buffett, we are seeing substantial inflation and are raising prices. So the thing is, like I said, I did a video about this. Literally, these businesses basically have been paying more to ship their goods. Usually they eat the cost of that. But because of the fact they're paying so much more, now they about to start making the customers eat the cost. Which is going to lead to, a lot of different things. It's going to lead to a lot of crimes. It's going to lead to a lot of death and suffering. It's going to lead to a famine because, like I said, at the end of the day, everybody, like I say, Jake is at ease right now because, $1,400, $600 for free. Oh, wow, I'm doing something. But then Jake don't know how to deal with money. You know what I mean? I remember when the first stimulus came out, and it was a chick that I used to see. I didn't know her, but she worked at this Pizza Hut in the area where I stayed at. And we had a whole totally different store. She probably don't recognize me at all, but I recognized her face. But she, how people just be running their mouth. And she was literally talking about how she was like, yeah, it's been so busy in Pizza Hut. You had people, you had Jake just buying pizzas. You know what I mean? Like, I know this for a fact. I know a person, not to go into too much detail, but I know a person literally got the money, and I'm trying to explain to him, like, well, you need to, like, try and get this or buy that or buy some extra food and toilet paper. They didn't know what to do with the money. They literally said out their mouth, to show you how confused Jake is, they didn't want a second one. And I'm like, nah, right now, you had the third one. They like, I just got my money. That's a foolish thought, you know what I'm saying? Like, but at the end of the day, it says, billionaire Warren Buffett is joining the long list of executives saying serious levels of inflation are starting to take hold as the U.S. economy roars back from the COVID-19 downturn. So when you take time to think about that, if things are going to inflate, which is, at the same time, they're going to have to continue to actually give out these stimuluses. So more than likely, this next stimulus that he's trying to pass with the infrastructure, I forgot what it's called, it's going to probably have a direct payment to Americans. They're just not making it known right now because if you about to go into inflation, and inflation always leads to hyperinflation. It always does. So at the end of the day, I can see this being the year of we about to see a dramatic change. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna say this is gonna be the year where, the MOB gonna be pushed, but then again, who's to say? You gotta remember, this the year that they said the Pentagon wanted to put a microchip in you just to track if you got CV. They literally said that, but then they call us crazy for sitting up there saying that, that's Bible prophecy and the mark of the beast is, right. Anyhow, it says, we are seeing substantial inflation, Buffett said at the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholder meeting broadcast exclusively by Yahoo Finance. We are raising prices. People are raising prices to us, and it's being accepted. Buffett called out much higher steel costs is impacting Berkshire's housing and furniture businesses. And what people don't know is, like, if you don't check out anything about the economy or how, business works and whatnot, and, like, I watch some economists YouTube channels and whatnot. And literally, like, you got a whole bunch of bubbles going on. You got, like, the housing bubble. Like, if you go check it out, you got people that got money to buy a house, but you got people that's literally got all this money tied up in their house. So, like, you got people that got the nest egg, they ready to buy a house, but literally, like, they can't get the house that they want. So they trying to take any house. Like, the prices of homes that went up. You would think with these coming evictions and whatnot, like, it depends on where you at. So you got to remember, Jake in the hood, yeah, you probably got like all kind of vacancies, but like the suburbs and whatnot, yeah, because that's, like I said, living in a suburb and living in the ghetto is two different experiences, flat out. the same worries that you have living in the projects, you don't have living in the suburbs. It says people have money in their pocket and they pay higher prices. It's almost a buying frenzy, Buffett said, noting that the economy is red hot. And usually they look at this guy like a prophet, this Warren Buffett, this old fucking faggot ass nigga. But you know what I mean? Usually when he say and forecast the economy, he's usually dead on. You know what I mean? Yeah, but more than likely he probably like a puppet of the, not probably a puppet, he a puppet of the elites, probably, you know what I mean, saying certain shit. I wouldn't be surprised, you know what I mean? Look at, as soon as Jake wasn't trying to get this vaccine, who did they send out there to actually try to lullaby him into actually taking it? Obama, fucking Shaquille O'Neal, and Charles Barkley. And it's funny because we was just talking about them yesterday. But you know what I mean? And you got people in awe about Obama. You know, and awe. Mind you, they not paying attention to all these allegations of homosexuality. You gotta remember, when Obama was running for presidency, they said that he had something to do with the pastor of his church because they supposed to have something going on as far as a homosexual relationship. People don't even know stuff like this. The Oracle of that's what they just called him to. The Oracle of Omaha isn't alone in battling the inflation at the moment, from everything to higher steel prices to runaway copper prices. So the point is the price of all goods. So that's why it's costing so much for these homes right now. Like, I know a broad right now that's getting a house built from the ground up. Do you think somebody like that is going to walk away from Babylon? And not in Cleveland, but in California. Right now. The number of mentions of inflation during first quarter earnings call this month have tripled year over year, the biggest jump dating back to 2004, according to fresh research from the Bank of America strategist Savita Subramania. Raw materials, transportation, and labor were cited as the main drivers of inflation. Right. Because especially like if you got these truckers, they're importing stuff, and then I know gas supposed to actually is going up. So just imagine the cost of paying to ship goods. Because you got, first of all, it's a shortage of truckers. Then the cost of gas is up. And then is the cost to ship it, you know what I mean, is up. Everything up. So eventually the price of the goods going to be up. You about to see by next month. So I pray that the Lord be with all the sincere Akia, because we about to go into some trying times, you know what I mean. It says some Romanian research found that the number of inflation mentions has historically led the consumer price index by a quarter. I'm not really familiar with what that means, with 52% correlation. In other words, Romanian thinks investors could see a robust rebound in inflation in coming months in the wake of the latest round of C-suite commentary. Inflation is arguably the biggest topic during this earnings season, and I was just saying that it looks like since for the last few days I've been seeing nothing but articles about either inflation or food shortages. The world's biggest companies are taking action, just like Buffett at Berkshire. Procter & Gamble said recently it will begin to hike up prices on baby care. So children are about to be expensive. Feminine care and adult inconsistent product incontinence products in the United States. Prices increase will range from mild to high single-digit percentages. The hikes will go into effect in mid-September. Now, that's certain things, but from what I read in the article, certain things like diapers and shit, I think stores will go up in June. Whirlpool CFO Jim Peters recently told Yahoo Finance the appliance maker just jacked up price by 5 to 12% to counteract rising steel costs. So, like I said, because they're paying more for certain products, they're going to charge the consumer more money, you know. So we about to eat the cost of a lot of shit. And you know, that's just the case. And that's just, you know, so I'm going to end the article on that. Made me think of a few scriptures. I only got two that came to mind. But this is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So right now, you know, if you a man in this truth, you're supposed to be standing on your watch, meaning watching these prophecies come to pass, and you're supposed to be ready to bring them forth. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be ready to blow the trumpet. You're supposed to be ready to make the brothers aware. You know what I mean? Your people. Because like I said, as a job of a watchman, you're supposed to be watching for danger. It says, verse 2, and the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. So your job as a prophet, as a watchman, you're supposed to be bringing these scriptures, breaking them down and making people get an understanding of them. You know what I mean? Like, and at the end of the day, this isn't very complicated. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, sometimes Jake make things complicated or it's just not for you. I just heard Apostle Tahar recently make a statement. He said, if a nigga can't get it, we moving on. And he's made that statement in the past, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be surprised. Well, you wouldn't be surprised because you got brothers. I mean, if you sincere with this thing, you're going to take the time to try and bring forth this information to a person that may not be aware. But for the most part, I get more people that don't get it that get it. You know what I mean? Verse 3, for the vision is yet for a appointed time, meaning these prophecies. Because each prophecy has a point in time when it's going to come to pass. But at the end, it shall speak. So it may seem like it's taking a minute, but it's going to come to pass, though. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Because at the end, the Most High is a man of his word, and he cannot lie. Like I said, it made me think of something that was brought out at camp yesterday. Brother said that literally the Most High said he's going to do certain things, and he's done everything else. If the Lord said he's going to destroy America, he's going to destroy America. America, I mean, you seeing it being destroyed in front of, if you got the eyes to see, you seeing it being destroyed in front of your very, very eyes. You know what I mean? I mean, it's those that's hoping. See, hope is a hell of a thing. You got people that's literally hoping that Biden's administration is going to bring back Babylon, a.k.a. America. You got people literally hoping that. And that's a futile, foolish hope. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith, or the just shall live by his faith. And, that man whose soul is lifted up is this red Hebrew Edomite, Esau E, the red Hebrew Edomite, the devil, But the just shall live by his faith. And, what I mean, being just is a man that's, is a man in his truth, following these laws, statutes, commandments to the best of his ability, and living a righteous life. You know what I mean? To the world, we look like we're fools. You know what I mean? But it tells you in the book of I think it's First Corinthians about by the foolishness of preaching. It basically it pleased the Most High to save those that which believed. Roughly paraphrased. You know what I mean? This isn't meant for everybody to get it. I was just reading Mark and it made me think, when Yahushua spoke to the peoples, he spoke to a multitude of people, but he had his personal disciples. That was the elect. You get what I'm saying? So it was many people that heard what he was saying, but they didn't get the deeper understanding or the understanding of it. He talked to them in parables and dark sayings, but he talked to the disciples privately and broke them things down. And you seeing that today. We are out on the highways and hedges, and people hear us. A lot of times, when, especially where our campsite is right now, we see pretty much every nationality. And it was deep because I thought about when you go to the Agora, it's supposed to be a place where all the different, nationalities, but because that's the market, and I always see either Esau or Moab in this area, but you see Jake, you see everybody, And the point is, though, no matter if they stop, they rarely stop, but for the most part, they always looking, or they try to walk past and hear to a certain extent, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they're not going to get the understanding unless it's meant for them to get the understanding. Verse 5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Who is this man that you talking about? When you take time to think about it, who is the proudest man on the planet? This red Hebrew Edomite. While this place is going down, he's still proud. You know what I mean? Right now, I was just literally meditating on the fact, as bad as people doing, you know what I mean? As much as I was thinking about my David. I was like, this bitch more proud than she was. Right? I was like, wow. And then the one brother from Mississippi, he did a video, and he was like, these women through. And basically, he showed, it was a video on the YouTube, how it was a woman. She was basically telling all the other women that basically they should, basically control the household and, Basically, she was like, even if you ain't into women, you should like let your friends, the female friends, actually like deal with the kids and raise the kids. And I was thinking to myself, like, to show you just how bugged out and off that shit is. Like, so a group of women gonna raise a man, huh? You know what I mean? And you know, it made me think of Bushwick Bill. You know, he had a song. He said, bitch, you want my son to act like me or act like you? You know what I mean? Like, why would you, like I say, it's so much confusion here. You got a woman talking about she want a real man, but yet and still though, you know what I mean, she don't know how to be a woman. You know what I mean? Like, she try to compete with you on every level, but yet and still though, want to be treated like a woman. When men feel threatened or feel in competition, it usually turns into some like testosterone moving type shit where it might become physical. But the difference between a man and a woman, like I've literally seen this. A woman will become close with another woman based on like they both supposed to share the experience. They both was in the area and they got to talking about what they go through with their men, and then that makes them cool. And then next thing you know, but then they wonder why after the end of the fact, like why the fuck she can't stand her guts or she done really overstepped her bounds. Men, on the other hand, will bond. I've seen two men get into a fist fight, but become the best of friends to the point where they'll die for each other because the bond is totally different. That's why, like I said, I constantly make this statement. I don't understand if brothers don't get it or not. Or, I mean, maybe, for whatever reason, at the end of the day, after anything and everything, as much as I might not see eye to eye with any brother in the truth that I've bumped heads with, at the end of the day, I look like the brother from Chicago made the statement. He said at the end of the day, he said, I might not get along, deal with, or whatnot with every brother, but I'll die for any one of them. Because if you sincerely believe this thing, like I said, at the end of the day, then you are, in my mind, a sincere brother. Your actions going to show you that you're sincere. And that's why I'll call you. And so that's why I'm going to try to my best ability to actually follow what the scriptures say. Because if I look at you like a nigga in the world, I'm going to be a nigga in the world for real. And you know, we supposed to be that's just me being honest though. You know what I mean? I'm still in my flesh. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna make it seem like I'm not gonna be emotional or I haven't been emotional. I'm very emotional. You know what I mean? Like I try not to be emotional, but you know what I mean? And people always quick to sit up there and be like, oh, emotions. But I mean, emotions is a lot of different things. If you made in the image of your creator is emotional, why would, you know what I mean? But we as men in an emotional society is, you know, like you're going to have to come into a time where it's a lack of emotions. You know what I mean? You're going to have brothers that's going to have children. And, you know, that's emotional dealing with your seed, watching your seed suffer. You know what I mean? But, you know, you're going to have to put aside emotion when you put in a situation when it's between doing the work or, you know, trying to worry about or take care of your family or your loved one, whatever loved one that is, you know. That's an ancient man spirit. That's what makes an ancient man, you know, because, you know, I'm rambling on. Salakia. At the end of the day, the point that I wanted to get was verse 6. Well, I'm going to bring back 5. He says, yea, he also, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires hell. Because at the end of the day, he's a covetous man. He's a carnal creature. You know what I mean? So therefore, you know, he wants what's satisfying to the body, to the flesh. That's why he, you know, you got that guy Lester Crowley, that wicked ass Edomite that literally had that saying, "Do as thou wilt," meaning, you know, I mean, do as you like. You know what I mean? Even T.I. bitch ass had that. You can have whatever you know. What I mean? Like, it's certain things that the Lord don't want you to have. You know what I mean? Because everything isn't. Just because it is not unlawful doesn't mean it's expedient. Everything isn't, you know what I mean? Do you know too much water is actually will help you live. But if drinking too much water can actually kill you. It's a such thing called water poisoning. Facts. You know, everything's supposed to be done in moderation. You can't, the Lord didn't say that you can't do certain things because he put you in the flesh. This, you know, sex is pleasurable because, I mean, you know, the Lord knows that you like pleasure, but it's also for a purpose. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't supposed to be just having sex just to be busting You know what I mean? Just sex is supposed to be to what did the Most High say? He said, "Be fruitful and multiply," because it's to build a nation. It's gonna be a lot of. This ain't the time for being all in the flesh with what's about to come. Like I say, it's a reason why I keep finding these these articles. Like that hyperinflation is right there, and like I said, to show you how the devil works, they keep on talking about September. You know what I mean? A war could jump out by September. They said in June, the article I read, so to show you how he give you misinformation or he's trying to make, like this motherfucker the devil, man. The point I wanted was, let me finish it out. He said, and he is as death, which is, it says he's the son of perdition, and what's that, Second Thessalonians? He's the son of perdition, which is like destruction, which is death, and cannot be satisfied because he's covetous, but gathered unto him all nations by his philosophies and heapeth unto him all people. Verse 6, shall not all these things take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long to him that ladeth himself with thick clay? And when you go into that clay, I don't have the complete breakdown, but basically false. Well, I think you got to go through the etymology, but it basically breaks down to this debt. Because like I said, it tells you in the book of Proverbs that a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. And the paper money which they have you thinking is valuable. Like I brought this out at camp one day because it's funny. We live in a society that literally tells you that this money has value, but then you still can get access to gold and silver, which is real money. To show you how this upside down this shit is real. You know what I'm saying? This thick clay is this debt because right now with all these stimulus packages that they passed, literally, like that's why you're seeing inflation now. And then they still talking about trying to pass another one though. What you think that's? So by September, this probably the year that this shit gonna go down as far as like the economy. And I've heard brothers and elders make mention of that. Through the spirit, it's too much going on. And then this the year we see hyperinflation come out. So, I got one last scripture, and then I'm in the lesson. Because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be paying attention to the times we in. That's a prophecy. You get what I'm saying? So, talk about this debt. So, this is 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in self, and when thou seest parts of the signs pass, which I've told thee before. And one of the signs is, this inflation. One of these signs is this famine. Because like I said, when the price of goods go up, literally, that's going to create a famine. It may not create a famine for everybody, but for a big part of the world. You got to remember, this pandemic literally made the wealthy more wealthy and made those that literally was doing well. Like what you had a lot of, the elder always bring out a personal testimony about it was a client of his that literally been a millionaire multiple times, but lightweight now he's starting to understand what the elder been telling him. Like how they gonna switch us over to this system. He's literally, what? It's so spiritual now that I think about it. I remember the elder actually going into the personal testimony about this man's situation. He was talking about the cost of goods with the reason why we about to actually have the inflation. Because I guess he's an international businessman. He shipped goods and whatnot. He was like, he couldn't move. I would have to go find that video, but he was like, basically he couldn't get nobody to move his product. He was like, the product is worth a certain amount of money. He stands to make a substantial amount of money or lose a substantial amount of money, but because of the fact of the cost of the shipping, he couldn't get it shipped. And that's what you're seeing now. That's what's going to drive the price of a lot of these goods up because of the fact it's the shipping of them, and then because of the supply chain is broken, they can't move this, the product like that. Verse 2, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And you seeing all kinds of signs come to pass, and that's how you know what time we're in. We are in the time of the end. Verse 3, therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and I'm sure it's earthquakes. Last year was so many earthquakes. You got brothers that follow that particular, that particular trend. I mean, how many earthquakes going on? I'm sure it's many going on. They're not actually speaking on it right now, but it's a lot of stuff they not speaking on. You know what I mean? The only thing they really speaking on for real, is this inflation, this coming famine, and how many, how bad India got COVID, right? Right. It says that uproars of the people of the world, what you said right now, you got multiple protests, what I mean? In the states alone, we ain't even talk about worldwide. Verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things the from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Because, you know, uh, I forgot how that scripture goes. It talks about the Most High, basically, prophesied the end from the beginning or whatnot, because everything was preordained. You get what I'm saying? I might be butchering that, so lucky if I am. But basically, everything was it's multiple scriptures, and like I think the book of Colossians. Uh, well, basically, just telling you how everything was predestined. You know what I mean? You know, this is not by happenstance or coincidence. This is literally, it tells you, like I said in the book of Isaiah chapter 42, the former things have come to pass and new things do I declare. You know what I mean? Like everything was already, mapped out, because this is the Most High's actual script. This is his movie. You know what I mean? We just plan it out. You know what I mean? That's why brothers always bring out the fact that the victory's already won. We just got to literally play it out. You know what I mean? You got to remember, Yahweh Shai has already been, crucified and arose and sitting on the right hand of our Father Yahweh, you know, and all he's waiting for is the word to come back. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? you know, like come back and what does it say in Isaiah 47? And I shall not meet thee as a man. You know what I mean? So verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And you seeing the end take place right now. You know what I mean? Like I said, at the end of the day, like Habakkuk said, though it tarry, wait for it. I was listening to Brother Bakar Amoff. He was saying how people, it's funny. I haven't been able to like move around the way I normally do, but I always go to this Audis off of like in a particular area. And the last time I was over there, which was like probably like last week, it's been an abandoned like check cashing place that you know been been abandoned for probably like maybe 3-4 years, and it's a big enough spot that people used to pull in there and they'll be selling stuff. Like you'll have people like street vendors selling like rugs, or people that would make handmade Valentine baskets or Mother Day's baskets. They'll pull in there. I just went up there yesterday and literally they done tore that shit down. They just built a Dunkin' Donuts across the street from it. So in the midst of this, while everything's going down, you got Esau building. But and for a carnal person, they'll be like, "Oh well, yeah, these people crazy. They don't know what they talking about. How is this place going on? Yada yada yada." But it tells you in the scriptures that the Most High said, "They shall build, but I will throw down." You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, they gonna build, but the Lord gonna destroy this place nonetheless. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like I say, wait till this hyperinflation hit. Watch how the spirit. Watch what kind of spirit be out here. You know what I mean? Like. Lord code, like I say. So if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole, Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. That's who's going to sustain you in the times to come. Who's going to protect you. Who's going to clothe you and feed you and cover you with what's coming. Because and be a lamp to your feet to walk the path that you're gonna have to walk, because it's about to get very, very dark out here. You know what I mean? Like, you already beginning to see that to a certain extent. But like I said, it's only a few things that really like the lack of food or the lack of money will actually make a person do things that's not normally in their character, or that's when you see that selfishness come out. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, may the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah be with all the true believers with the times that's coming. And with that, I'm going to end the lesson. Lord willingly, it was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Call Haloyim, La Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Chagadas Wakatham, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth as well. Salaki, pushing his truth with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwath and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was an edifying video. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of the other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. Until next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom, and Mawaf Lababal. Shalom.